Welcome to today's episode of Numbers 101. Today we're going to show you how to do mean and standard deviation using the formulas tabs and function tabs in Numbers. Mean and standard deviation are two of the most common forms of being able to calculate and use a spreadsheet program such as this. Being able to do this with a spreadsheet program allows for fast and capable functions without having a lot of the spending multiple hours calculating, punching things into a calculator. You'll notice that I already have a set of data typed in here. Please note that this data table is not up to standards for a lab report and would be considered inappropriate to just be copied and pasted into a lab report. However, for our purposes, it is simply just be using to compute information, and so therefore it's left fairly simple. First, we're going to find the mean. Means can be calculated in three different ways depending on how you use it. The first one would be to come up here to the function button, click the drop down, and simply click average. This gives me an average of the three numbers that I've been given here. You'll see up here it shows the actual formula. That is the most simplest way, but you don't often always have the luxury of being able to find average that quickly. You can also go to Show Function Browser, clicking on the same menu. We're usually looking for statistical references in biology. Click on Average, Insert Function. If I click out of this, you'll see that I get numbers showing up. If I highlight that duration, I'm going to simply highlight the three numbers that I would like averaged and click enter. You'll notice that it gives me the same number that I had before. The third and final way is to simply type it in. Every formula in Numbers begins with equal sign. I can type average, parentheses, highlight the three numbers, and click enter again. All three ways are simple and easy and effective to use. The final way is simply to click on this FX button, which gives you the function system that we had earlier. Depending on your method, depending on what you're trying to use it for, each method is slightly different, and some are faster than others depending on what you're good at. Now, you don't have to type in this formula every single time. This is where the power of Numbers program comes into play. If you put your cursor right over that little dot in the corner of the box, you'll notice that it has a black cross. If we click and hold it down and then drag that black cross across the numbers we want, we'll actually see those numbers appear. You'll notice if you click on the other boxes, you'll see up in the corner the numbers B3 to D3 have actually changed. As we've dragged it, the program is actually changing the numbers that it's averaging together, which is exactly what we want. For this purpose, very simple, very easy. We can do the same thing with standard deviation. STDEV is the formula for standard deviation. I'm going to click Function, Show Browser Function, Statistical, and I'm looking for STDEV, standard deviation. If you don't really know what to do, this down here will tell you actually what you need to do and how to go about doing that, which makes it nice and easy. Again, we're looking for standard deviation of my simple three trial numbers, and so I'm going to hit that number. I can travel and pull down the screen again, and we're left with standard deviation of my numbers as well. Now you notice that my decimal places are all over the board. It's really important anytime you have that all your decimal places meet each other. My smallest one over here is 16.5 with 0, so I'm going to use 16. I'm going to use one decimal place. To customize them in Numbers, you'll see this bar at the top. Click the little drop-down menu and go to Custom. You can create a custom format and name it if you like. Text and integers is here. I'm going to drag some decimal places up here because this is what I want. I want to show trailing zeros, and I only want one decimal place involved there. This gives me a chance to click OK, and it should change the majority of your numbers. Now there's a few numbers here that I haven't quite figured out how to fix completely. For our purposes, we're just going to type them in this way. We want the 0. You really want the zeros in front of that. If you can figure out how to do it, please tell me how, because I don't know how. You can add a digit, remove a digit, hide separators, and all sorts of different things. If you would like currency or spaces or whatever else you're trying to enter into that, you can create your own format. So if you consistently want something that's always the same, you can also do that within numbers as well. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you next time.